The importance of coffee among Brazilian resources gave rise to the city of Sao Paulo, the greatest industrial center in South America. It has today about 35,000 factories and 3 million inhabitants. Booming Sao Paulo reminds one of Chicago or Los Angeles. Its ever-changing skyline presents groups of massive buildings of modernistic lines. The village of Sao Paulo of the colonial days has suddenly grown into a powerful metropolis of tall buildings and beautiful parks. 3 houses are built there every hour, making it the fastest growing city in the world. Sao Paulo is also the melting pot of immigrants coming from all over the world. Italians, Lebanese, Germans, Poles, Japanese are at home there. It is a haven for all those who wish to come to Brazil, bringing their share of goodwill, skill, and work to further the material and spiritual progress of the country. The Butantan Institute, shown here, is one of the most important scientific institutions in South America. All kinds of snakes and poisonous insects from all over the world are studied there. Snakes behind, one is glad to arrive in Rio de Janeiro, the most beautiful harbor in the world. Brazilians call it affectionately and justly Cidade Maravilhosa, the wonderful city, for in every corner there is a wonder to be seen. Nowhere else in the world do mountains and sea blend more dramatically. There is the Corcovado Peak with the statue of Christ the Redeemer blessing the city. And there is the Municipal Stadium, the largest in the world, holding 200,000 persons. It is filled to capacity whenever important events such as games of soccer, Brazil's national sport, are held there. Our plane is preparing to land at Santos Dumont Airport, 3 minutes away from Rio's business section. In downtown Rio, one may admire the first examples of the modern Brazilian architecture. The National Library of Classical Lines in the foreground, the Brazilian Press Association building, all in marble, and the Ministry of Education and Culture beyond. Here again is the Press Association building, one of the most beautiful in Rio. And one of the most imposing, the Ministry of Education, influenced the design for the United Nations building in New York. No, that is not a mirage. It is really a swimming pool on the roof of a downtown business club. The bulk of contemporary buildings in the business section is dotted with lovely gardens and pieces of statuary, which follow the ultra-modernistic trend of the architecture. Rio is also a city of contrasts. Next to a modern building, one will discover a colonial church like Santa Lucia's here. The imposing Candelaria Church is surrounded by office and bank buildings. President Vargas Avenue, one of the widest in the world, leads to the War Department and to the railroad station. A huge clock 4 stories high is set into the concrete tower of the station. There is the Municipal Theater, a replica of the Paris Opera House. It is the center of Rio's artistic and social life.